system that works in our real life. And when people do that, they stick with it.
I agree with you 100%. I mean, it's complicated. So one of the questions I have is, when people do this life change, some of the diets say, or some of the meal plans, I'll use that terminology, that you can have a cheat day. And, cheat day doesn't mean you could have a whole pizza. Maybe it means you could have a slice of pizza. I use myself as an example. I can't do cheat days because if I can have one slice, I want the whole. So knowing yourself, I guess, could help with that. But what is your take on cheat day? Is that just something that they're throwing in there so that you'll take a chance at doing it, or is it really something that people could do?
There is some science behind that. If you maintain a certain calorie level or an activity level for long periods of time, your body adjusts to that. And so when they do a low-calorie diet and then they increase the calories for one day, it kind of keeps your body paying attention, if you will, to what's happening and can help stabilize your metabolism. It's also a mind game, right? Most of it has to do with our mind. We just feel like we are being deprived, and we need to know that we're not. We do include what we call a treat meal or a celebration meal instead of a cheat, because as I said, you can cheat on your spouse, you can cheat on your taxes, but you can't cheat on yourself because you're doing it. So
Right.
If you treat yourself, you look at it a little differently. An entire pizza is really not a treat. That's a binge, and you know that. But one piece is a treat. And so we can limit our treats more easily if we look at it as a treat rather than as a cheat.
Yeah, I like that idea because cheat, that word there, is already messing with your mind. So celebration is the positive side of that, wording or vocabulary. So that makes sense to me to call it a celebration meal instead of a cheat meal or a cheat day.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I like that.
And it makes it enjoyable.
Right. It doesn't make you feel guilty that you're doing something that you really know isn't right, but being that they said you could do it, you might as well get it in there, So
Mm-hmm.
The other way is more of the fact that for being so disciplined, you get to celebrate for a meal or two in one day. So that I like that. That makes a lot of sense.
Well, and as you eat well and you start eliminating pain and you start having more energy, you also value that. And so your celebration meals become much healthier versions of what you might normally do as well. And it sets you free to enjoy life with your friends who maybe aren't on that same path, so that you can go out and not feel like you're the only one that's not eating bread, or, you're having a salad while everyone else is having pizza. So it brings a lot of freedom.
Yeah. I think it's important. I want to touch on some things. Time goes really fast here. You do, you do a radio show. You are an author and a speaker. There's a lot of things that you do, okay? So I know being out in the middle of nowhere gives you plenty of time to do a lot of things. But, in life, in our wellness, mentally and physically, there's got to be a balance.
Mm-hmm.
So you do. You spend a lot of time working with people and doing that. You do a radio show, and your radio show is it's just another thing that you have to prepare for and have that balance. But your show is the Wellness Workshop. It's on Tuesday evenings for an hour, I believe it is. But that's another way for people to tune in. Now, is this something that is you bring other wellness guest in, or do you just talk about the different stuff in the wellness workshops that you do? Tell us about your radio show.
We always have a nutrition piece, and usually we focus on something, a physical complaint or gaining more energy. For instance, why do I crave chocolate? And so we'll spend a little bit of time on something like that, and then we have a guest. And we focus on 5 common values that everyone shares: physical health, financial health, personal peace, personal vision and significance, and loving relationships. So our guests always fit into one of those areas, either as an expert or as someone with a testimony. And so we try to really bring balance. As you said, life is about balance. It's not all about food. It's not all about exercise. And you can actually eat well and you can exercise every day, but if you have bitterness, resentment, unforgiveness, fear plaguing your life, you're never going to be healthy. So we try to address those life issues as well. Our guests in August are all speaking to relationships, how to build loving relationships. And so it's always fun, like you said, Tony, to have the opportunity to learn from so many people.
Yeah, it's people. My first guest was talking about bullying with youth and stuff, and one of the things that the internet has done is made so many things accessible, but it's a double-edged sword. It can work both ways. It can hurt you as well as help you. And the internet, the radio platform or any internet platform that you can reach other people and have conversation with, well, to me, that's just the best way to learn, because a lot of people live in their own little circle. The fact that you live in a rural area doesn't mean that you're not reaching out, learning for more people, and marketing those people and their knowledge to your community as well. So I think if they use the internet like that, at the end of it all, and you probably could witness to this as well, I never realized I would learn more doing internet radio than any college course I could ever take.
Yes.
Right?
That's absolutely true.
Great. So, all right. So, tell me, with your wellness program, how can they plug into that? How can they? Is it a membership thing that they do? I know they can go to the wellnessworkshop.org and see all the information. But if they're like me, I want to know which tab to click on. How do I get there the fastest?
Good. Well, thanks for asking me about that. I used to work with people one-on-one, which is great, but it really limits my time. And it's also a very expensive way for people to engage with a mentor or a coach. So a few years ago, I wrote a program called My Busy Healthy Life. And if you go to our website, thewellnessworkshop.org, you'll see a programs tab, and you'll find that there's several ways, several levels of commitment that we help people. We have a book, Wonderfully Well, which is on Amazon, and that's for the do-it-yourselfer. You just follow the instructions in the book, and you're good. And there's been several thousand people who have done that on their own. Then we also have the program My Busy Healthy Life, and that is kind of like a membership program where every week you get an email from me and it says, do these 5 or 6 steps this week and just focus on this. That's a 4-month program, and we take you from, being a junk food junkie to learning how to have a balanced, healthy diet and healthy lifestyle. People lose about 30 pounds on average. Men usually lose more because they just drop weight faster than women. But the really incredible part about it is that medical symptoms, those aches and pains and the things you have to take medicine for, are reduced pretty much across the board by 60 to 80% in those 4 months, and some 100%. And often we'll have people tell us that their doctors took them off of their medication as they went through the program. And then I also do the one-on-one coaching. I speak to groups. And then we have a mastermind group. And that's kind of the best of all worlds, in my opinion, because twice a month you meet with people who are on the same journey, so you don't feel like you're doing it alone. Plus you get my help, and I have other mentors that are on these calls, and we help you overcome obstacles, fine-tune your system and get encouragement for the journey that you're on. So the wellnessworkshop.org and programs. And it's really up to how you work best. If you need that hand-holding, you want someone to meet with you every week, that is a fantastic way to make a life change. I just met with a lady yesterday that I met with every week for a year. And she's almost at her 2-year anniversary. We've only met 2 other times in the last year. And she's maintaining her lifestyle and her system and her weight and her health about 90%. And that's pretty good, considering that usually by the time people do a diet and then stop their diet, within 2 years, they're worse off than they were before they started.
Yeah. So I love the different programs that you have, and I like the fact that you give people a time frame in the programs where it can become a habit. We all know that we create habits unknowingly, whether it's eating good or bad. But once you get into the habit of something and you have to be accountable to someone for your habit, and it can't be your spouse because that just never seems to work out, right?
Yeah.
It has to be someone that you don't want to say, oh, I didn't do it. So I think that's good. It gives people a chance to, if they want to commit to the process, to be successful at it. So I like that. And you allow people to do it themselves. You can hold their hand or you can do it all for them. I really think that's a good mix because you're hitting the whole audience, not just a couple individuals in the audience. So what's the next thing you have coming up that people need to know about?
Thanks for asking. On Monday night, I have an information call for our My Busy Healthy Life Mastermind group, and that's at 5 o'clock Pacific on Monday night. And they can get more information about that by going to our Facebook page. It's just Facebook, The Wellness Workshop, or signing up for our newsletter on our website, thewellnessworkshop.org. There's a newsletter sign-up form there. And on Wednesday, that would be July, I don't even know what day that is. This coming Wednesday at 8 o'clock in the morning, that's July 29th, I have a webinar, and that's for women. It's the 3 big mistakes that professional Christian women make that keep them overweight, stuck with health problems, and worried about their retirement. And we talk about those 3 big mistakes and what the solutions are to those.
Awesome. Well, I hope people will take the time to you, to your show, to your workshop, and personally to you to learn more about how they can get involved with what you're doing. We're out of time. I apologize for that, Celeste. This goes so fast here when we're having conversations. But one tip you can leave the listeners?
Oh, the tip is don't focus on being, a vegan or a vegetarian or worry about any of those words. Focus on nourishing your body with God-made foods. Just start looking at your choices and asking yourself, is this as close to the way that God made it as possible? And if the answer is yes, then eat all you want. If the answer is no, then start looking for more God-made foods.
Like that. Thank you very much, Celeste Davis, for your time today. Folks, make sure to go to thewellnessworkshop.org. Click on the Programs tab. There's so much information there that you can plug into. Once again, Celeste, thank you for your time today. We hope you have a blessed day, and we look forward to having you back on the air.
Thank you, Tony, and you have a blessed day as well. Bye-bye.
All right. Folks, we're up against the clock, so no recap today. We went a little long, as we always do. We have too much fun on this show. Tune in next today at 1:30 Central Time to Life's Issues with Lauren Jono. That's our show for today. Have a blessed week. We'll talk to you next week.
You have been listening to Tough Talk Christian Radio with Tony Gambone, brought to you by the Tough Talk Radio Network. A special thanks to all of our sponsors. If you'd like to be a sponsor or a guest, please visit toughtalkradionetwork.com for more information.